Please be seated. The court is now back in session. And again, the Chamber would like to give the floor to the lead co-lawyers for civil parties to put questions to this civil party. You may proceed. International lead co-lawyer for civil party, please hold on. And Counsel Coupe, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question relating to filing this morning from the Office of the Prosecution. It seems that we are getting new statements coming from case 4. I have two questions. First, whether the statements that are going to be released have any relevance to this witness or the upcoming witnesses this week. And my second question would be if these 4 statements, the release of these 4 statements, is it? That's it? Or are there more to come in relation to this segment of the trial?
Thank you, Mr. President. Apologize for responding from the second row. The answer to the question is these 4 statements do not concern any of the immediate witnesses that are upcoming. The answer to the other question is that there is an ongoing investigation going on. There have been some additional statements. None of them, to my knowledge, involve trial witnesses, but requests have been made. And when authorization is provided for these new statements, they will be disclosed too, but they do not relate to trial witnesses. It's a pretty small number to my recollection too. But the 4 statements, 3 of them do relate to trial witnesses, but not in the group that's coming up in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I believe.
Thank you for the clarification, the co-prosecutor and the international lead co-lawyer for civil parties. You may proceed again.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Madame Civil Party. I wish to continue with my questions and go back to the period of February, March, April, or May 1975. This morning you told us that you saw senior leaders of the Khmer Rouge visit the work site where you were assigned at Tham Kok. This morning you spoke of Tam Mok, and I'd like to know, based on your recollection, if you saw any other senior leaders accompany Tam Mok.
During the decay regime of Khmer Rouge, Tam Mok accompanied the 3 Khmer Rouge leaders who traveled in a vehicle, and they were Pol Pot, Khieu Samphan, and Nuon Chea, and Tam Mok was in a separate vehicle. They visited the Old Chambok Canal work site. The plan was to irrigate the water from Old Chambok to the west area of the railway in order to make 3 harvests per year of rice produce.
Je vous remercie, Madame. Thank you, Madam Civil Party. You provided the names Khieu Samphan and Nuon Chea. I'd like to know, how did you recognize them? How did you recognize Mr. Kyu Sompon? That is my first question.
I knew it was him because I worked together with the group chief and the unit chief, and they said that Pol Pot and Kyu Sompon came to visit. And while I was standing, in fact, I smiled at them, but I was still working hard at the time to unearth the soil. They actually walked past the west of the canal and they went further, and I came back to continue focusing on my work.
Aviez-vous
Had you already seen Kyu Sompon prior to that event?
I saw him during the Sangkum Niyom regime because his photo was published in the newspaper as the people's representative, and I had heard of his name during that regime as well. So when he came for the visit, I recognized him, and he in fact called all the all the chief, unit chief, group chiefs, and the commune committee accompanied him while he was walking, but I was still unearthing the soil. And he actually went to cooperative number 1 as well, as my other sibling saw him through, and the other two Khmer Rouge leaders at the K1 cooperative.
Merci.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. You also mentioned Nunchia. I would like to know if you can tell us today how you knew that it was Nunchia.
It was the best people, namely the unit chief, who knew him, the district chief, the commune committee knew him and told my unit chief, and the unit chief told me further that the representative of the country came to visit us. They were the leaders, and they were the one who were in charge of the country.
Merci, Madame la.
Thank you very much. You talked about Tamok, who was part of the delegation. Had you already seen Tamok at Thamkok prior to that event?
I saw him frequently because my house was near Old Chambo, and it was not far from the house of Tamok. So I saw him frequently before that.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I wish to return to a statement you made prior to the lunch break. You talked about a nephew who was a monk, and he was, as you said,
Par nous expliquer
disrobed. Could you please tell us very clearly what was your relationship to him? How were you related? And can you please tell us what happened to him afterwards?
He was my immediate nephew, and his father was my elder blood brother. During the lunar regime, my mother sent her grandchildren to Prey Kambah area near Chiso Mountain, because their grandparents there were the best people. And this nephew became a monk because they were afraid that he would be sent to be a soldier to the battlefield. And because they wanted to attack and take over Takao, he was forced to disrobe and to make a resolution together with the village medic. And after Phnom Penh fell and Takao fell, they knew or they learned of his background, as he was the son of a military officer. And then the wife was asked to come and urge to kill her husband if she dared to do so. And that happened in 1976. And after the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime, it was my aunt who came to tell me about these events together with the other event of another strategic one.
Je vous remercie, Madame.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. This morning, as far as I understood it, you talked about marriage. And this afternoon, you were talking about a vow, a commitment. Can you please tell the Chamber if your nephew married, and in what circumstances did he marry?
I apologize. It was not a marriage, but he was asked to make a commitment or a resolution, and that happened before Phnom Penh fell. The Pol Pot organization asked him to make a resolution, and his wife works in the social affairs section. And she was told that her husband was the son of the enemy or a senior member of the enemy. For that reason, she was encouraged to kill him, to embalm him. And only after the fall of the regime, the grandmother came to tell me about that, and she wept while telling me the tragic event. And because of that, she did not want to live in that area. She moved further.
Merci, Madame la.
Thank you. One last question, because I'm not entirely clear on the event that you are describing today. Did your nephew was a monk, he was then defrocked, and then he married during the regime. Can you just please clarify, because I do not fully understand?
He was a monk, and then he was ordered to disrobe, then to make a commitment. Then he was given a weapon to be part of the Khmer Rouge military and to attack and take control of Takao province. And then later on, they had realized that he was a son of a senior military officer at the sub-military headquarters in Takao. And then they asked his wife whether she dared to kill her own husband. And the wife said yes, because she would kill the enemy. Then he was tied up, he was emboweled, and his gallbladder was removed to make a herbal medicine. President, the questions have been put to you, and your answer is very difficult to understand. You keep saying the words to make a resolution or to make a commitment. What does it mean to make a resolution to be part of a Khmer Rouge soldiers, or to make a resolution to marry his wife? But from the later response, you seem to say that he made a resolution to be part of a soldier to attack and take control of the Keo. Can you clarify that? I think that is the sticking point here. And make your answer brief and precise, please. Answer. That is to make a commitment to marry the woman to become his wife, who was a woman working as a medic for the social affairs section. President and the lead co-lawyer, please continue.
Alors, du coup, ça mérite.
I think this would warrant an additional question, Madame Civil Party. Can you please describe the circumstances in which the marriage was held? Do you know of the context in which the marriage took place?
I did not know about the marriage of the nephew, as they lived in Prekamba district while I lived in Liech Bo. And I only knew about those who made a resolution at the place that I lived, and about this event related to my nephew. I heard it from my aunt, who was the grandmother of the nephew.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you for that specific information. Just to return to what you said to the court, you testified that you never saw any marriages in your commune, but did you indeed ever observe any marriages that took place in the commune at the time?
I saw people making a resolution at my village. However, there were only a few couples. There was my younger brother and two other couples. However, at the K1 cooperative, during the marriage, there were many couples who were instructed to make a resolution during the ceremony.
Si je...
If I understand correctly, you witnessed a marriage ceremony between a few couples in your own commune, and you had also heard that at K1 there were marriage ceremonies which were held for a higher number of couples. Is that what you are telling the court today?
Yes, at the K1 cooperative, which was a model cooperative, my younger sibling was also instructed to make a resolution. I think during that time there were between 30 to 32 couples, and even after he made a resolution at the time, his wife was not allowed to come with him to the village, but she was sent to her respective unit and still to work in the mobile units to carry earth or to dig a canal, although they became husbands and wives.
Dernière question.
A final question on the topic. Who, in your opinion, organized the marriage ceremonies?
To my knowledge, it was the party or the Angka who instructed them to make a resolution to become a husband and wife, but it was only Tamok who was representative of Angka, but I did not know from where he received that instruction. And that happened at the K1 cooperative, which was located opposite the Liech Bo office, commune office.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I want to take you back to an event that you referred to this morning's testimony. You stated that your brother attempted to flee to Vietnam. Is my understanding correct? Did you tell the chamber this morning that your brother was taken back by the Khmer Rouge, and it were Khmer Rouge soldiers who sprayed him with fish sauce? Is that a correct understanding?
But
Yes, that is true. That was what happened.
merci, Madame.
Thank you. Just to be crystal clear on that incident, I wish to recall your memory and have you react to E35469, ERN English 007462219, and ERN in Khmer 005064665. In this document, Madam Civil Party, the name Rin is mentioned. I'd like to know if the name triggers your memory, and if you can tell the court who is Rin and what happened to Rin.
Rin was a friend of my other brother who lived next to his house. They gathered about 6 of them and fled through Vietnam, and they reached a village somewhere en route, and they empowered the militia and seized a rifle. And the man came to tell my mother that my other brother had been arrested. He was tied up, he was tortured, and they splashed fish sauce over his body. I think it happened about 5 or 6 days after he fled. So they tortured him.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. Have you ever heard of the expression, when you were at Tham Kok Cooperative, had you ever heard about any moral offenses?
I heard of that rather frequently, and I also saw events related to that offense. People who made moral offenses would be ordered to carry earth for a certain cubic meter per day. And one day I saw two couples who made or committed moral offenses and who were ordered to carry earth.
At the time, did you know what kind of moral offense the couple committed?
They said that they secretly fell in love with one another, and the woman was a widow, and she fell in love with uncle. That's what he referred to men at the time. So their love affair was known by them, and then they were punished by ordering to carry earth. And another one who was accused of a moral offense committed a suicide by hanging.
Pour rebondir,
Regarding that last detail you just provided, you said that the person who was in breach of the moral code was hung as a penalty. Were you a witness to that event, or is it something that you had heard about? Can you just provide some more details about that particular incident?
I only heard this event from another person who was a best person. I did not know whether he was arrested and killed, but the best person told me that the person was accused of a moral offense and felt offended or somehow, and then hanged himself probably. But I am not sure. Just to be clear, whether they hang him or he hang himself.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I have one last question. This morning, you testified that you wished to talk about two women, and you had addressed the President to ask if you could talk about these two women. Can you please tell us what you would like to evoke or talk about?
The two women who were my friends, who worked in a unit adjacent to mine, they were the younger sisters of a singer at the national radio station, and the other one was a younger sister of Oisokon. So they were my friends, and they were very good at carrying soil. They could carry 3 baskets on each side of the solar pole. But then they complained that the rice was not sufficient. How could we strengthen our stance because of the lack of food? In the morning we had the pumpkin, and in the afternoon we had another vegetable which was not sufficient. And they were transferred through the commerce section at Lichbo. They were asked to carry rice, and then a messenger from my village came to the village with the information about the two women, because all male comrades there at the Lichbo commune office sexually raped the two women who were my friends. And that information was relayed by a village messenger when he delivered the messages or the letters to the village. And they said that anyone who made a mistake in the village would be sent to their commerce office, and then that woman would be sexually raped. And later on, I did not know whether they were transferred to be imprisoned elsewhere in another detention center, because they disappeared since.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I have no further questions, Mr. President.
President, next. I now hand over the floor to co-prosecutor to put question to the civil party. You may proceed now. Co-prosecutor, Mr. President, Your Honor, parties, everyone in and around the courtroom. Good afternoon, Madam Kumlon. I am the representative of the co-prosecutors. I have a few questions for your clarification. My first question concerns the answer you gave to legal lawyer in relation to the time you saw Tamok frequently. My question is, when you said you saw Tamok frequently, where did you see him exactly? Answer: I saw him at the work site. When I was carrying earth, I was digging canal, I was transplanting in among my 7-member team. Sometimes I saw him in a vehicle, sometimes he rode the bicycle. Question: when he went to the worksite, what did he go there for? Answer: what I knew is that he went there to ask us to strengthen our position so that we can comply with the leaping forward policy of Angkar.
លោកស្រីដឹងទេតាមុខ
Question: what was Tamok's position in Tramkak district? Answer: Tamok was the provincial governor. He was in charge of 3 provinces, Kampong Speu, Takao and Kampot provinces. He had a senior position. Co-prosecutor: thank you. This morning you mentioned about your eldest son who was killed to the east of Tamok House. Do you know where Tamok House was? Answer: Tamok House was on the road to Barai, north of Takao province, and it was to the west of the roads. Question: what was it? Where commune was it, and what district was it? It was in Barai commune, Donkao district. Question: I now move to another topic. This morning you told the chamber that your family members and you were evacuated from Phnom Penh to Tramkak district. Upon arrival, your husband was asked to build a hall east of Nepal school. I would like to hear your clarification. Where was Liechpo and what was he asked to do at the place? Answer: he was working to the north of Liechpo Commune Hall. He was there to cut small trees to build a small shelter for new people. After the makeshift hall was built for 2 or 3 months, some of us who was transported from west of Ang Tasam, we were transported to the makeshift hall so that we can live in that hall. So these hall or small huts were built to the south of Liechpo commune office, and after a few days these people were killed. Co-prosecutor: I would like to have your clarification. Small huts which were built to the south of Lake Bo were only for new people or for also base people? Answer. Small huts. Old people, base people were also living in those small huts. And base people had enough food to eat. Question. I would like your clarification concerning the huts which were built when your husband was sent to that place. Were some huts were already built, or were it being built? Answer. I do not know. I do not know whether some huts had already been built. After the evacuation of my family and I to that place, my husband and those who have energy, they were asked to go there and build huts. So not only my husband, other people were also asked to build the huts. Co-prosecutor. So from my understanding, after hall or huts were built, new people and base people were asked to live in the huts. Is that correct? Answer. New people and base people were asked to live in the huts, and people were grouped to do labor. Question. Thank you. You said your husband was taken away and killed. Could you clarify did your husband has any link or network in the Lon Nol regime, or what was his position during the Lon Nol regime? Answer. His position at the time, he was a military medic. He treated wounded soldier from battlefields, at the battlefields. He worked at Borei Kaila Hospital. And he was also working at one hospital north of Central Market. The name was Katomili Military Hospital. She worked at those two hospitals. Co-prosecutor, thank you. In relation to your husband, when your family members and you were evacuated to Tramkak district, were all of you asked to do biography? Answer. We were twice asked to make our biographies after we were transported to Tramkak district, and after we were then asked to live in the hut, we were once again asked to make biographies. My husband said that because he was wounded, he could not go and make a biography. Later on, there was a search in my husband's clothes, and some photos could be found. Those clothes were put in a white plastic bag, and it was searched. Some photos were found inside the white plastic bag. Co-prosecutor, you said you were asked to make biographies. Were all people in the village were asked to do or to make a biography, or only new people were asked to do biographies? Answer. base people needed not to make biographies. Only new people were asked to make biography. Their biographies was already made in 1971 or 72. Only the 17 April people were required to make biographies. Co-prosecutor, who asked you to make biography? Did you make your own biography? Did you make biography by yourself, or did someone help you in making biographies? Answer: the village chief assisted in making biography. Deputy chief of the village also helped us, and another female assisted us. Actually, three of them noted down what we provided them. We did not have any books, so they did for us. After making biographies, after they learned that you were new people, were there distinction in the treatment between new and old and base peoples? Answer: as for new and base people, they were separated. They were base people, and we were 17 April people. Whenever our infraction were found, we would be taken to a study session. New people would be taken away and killed. As for base people, I never saw base people disappear. I was there 8 months and I did not see base people disappear. Co-prosecutor, did I understand you correctly when you said that new people were under surveillance? This means that new people had to behave them well, otherwise they would disappear. Is that correct? Answer: that is true. If we committed any mistake, or if we were not active, if we not energetic enough, we would disappear. And if we do not if we do not stop calling Papa or Mama, they would disappear. Question: in relation to your biological parents, what were their positions? Were they ordinary people? Answer: they were the village chief. Rather, they were the sub-district chief. So, question: do I understand from you that she or he was a civil servant in the former regime? Answer: my father was a civil servant in the former regime, and after that, in Lon Nol regime, he was also a civil servant. Question: my last question for you. Concerning your hardship in Khmer Rouge period, you told the lead co-lawyer and the chamber that your living condition in Pol Pot time, that is the new and the base people, food ration were different from each other. Was there any distinction between the food ration? Was there any distinction also concerning the work they do? Answer: I already told the chamber that new and base people had to go to work at their work sites. However, their food ration were different because base people had their reserve a meal or food. As for new people, we could only had meal as we were provided, and we had the same work. We went to work at the work site. Sometimes we faced hunger. Co-prosecutor: thank you very much, Madam Civil Party. I do not have further question. I may ask the chamber to give the floor to my international learned friend. President, you may now proceed, international co-prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon to the judges and to counsel. And good afternoon, Ms. Kumlan. Thank you for being with us here today. My first question is just a follow-up to a question that my colleague had. You said that your husband was a medic in the Lon Nol military. Did he have a rank? And if so, do you know what that rank was?
Answer: as for his rank, he was a captain, but he was about to get a major after the Khmer New Year. But for those who did not know, they said my husband was a first-star general. And those people who did not know and just said that my husband was a first-star general, they were brought away. The persons from the commune armed with a rifle, they came to collect these people. After liberation, on 7th April 1979, said Civil Party, the commune chief said he did not kill by himself. He just used the pretext. He said that the three other militiamen came to take those people. After the Vietnamese came into Cambodia, I asked about the matter, and that's what I was told.
Thank you. I'd like to now ask some questions about the visit of the leaders that you described earlier this morning and this afternoon. I'd like to get a few more details about that visit. Can you first tell us, to the best of your recollection, when did the leaders arrive at the work site that you were at?
Answer: they came to O Chambok worksite west of Tamok House in 1977. I do not recall the exact month. Perhaps it was in March, April, or it was in perhaps April or May. I remember that it was in dry season when we were digging a canal, and I saw those leaders came to my workplace to propagandize their policy. They were the one who lead the country during the democratic Cambodia. However, the way they led the country was wrong, and the country collapsed. I do really want to know from the leaders On the 7th August, he said that he did not know about the killings of people. And I do not know why he dared to say such things, because killing people occurs after the falls of Phnom Penh during the period of 3 years, 8 months, 20 days. If he said that he did not know about the killing for a certain period of time, for example, for 1 month or 1 year, I think it can be a reasonable pretext. But this killing happened for a longer period of time. Khmer kill Khmer people. I do really want a clarification and a real answer from the accused, President. Madam Civil Party, you are asked to provide your answer to the question put by party. After hearing your testimony, you will have time to put questions through the chamber to the accused, so that the conduct of hearing is not confused here. Your time for questioning the accused through the chamber will be allotted to you. So please pay your attention to the questions put by the party. And again, you are advised to provide answer in the scopes of the question asked by the party. If your answer go beyond the question asked, it will not help ascertain the truth. We will try to expedite our proceeding as fast as possible, so that we can hear testimony from each and every witnesses. International Court Prosecutor, you may now proceed and resume your questioning.
President. Ms. Kumlan, can you tell me how many people were at the work site on the day that the leaders visited?
Answer. There were many workers. People from Sambo commune came to Chamba work sites. Those who had full energy, they came to work at that work site to dig the canal, to store water, to irrigate water. I cannot give the approximate number, but it was about 300 to 400 people.
And what did you see the leaders do while they were there?
Answer. They did nothing. They were walking there, and they just pointed their fingers that this area should be dug deeper, so that we could irrigate much water to achieve 3 to 6 tons per hectare. And after talking like this, they kept walking. As for Tamok, he said that he needed sugar palm juice. During that time, it was about at 9 a.m., and he said, please, I needed sweet sugar palm juice. And if you could not make it sweet, you should add wine in it. The leaders went there together, and I did not know where they went to convene a meeting, because I was carrying earth during that time.
Thank you. And can you tell me about that meeting that you just mentioned?
What was the question? I did not catch up the question.
You just mentioned a meeting that was conducted while the leaders were there. Can you please tell us more about that meeting?
Answer. The leader went there and head of group, head of chief, head of units and the committee of the commune and district were called to be in the meeting with the leaders. And during lunchtime, we were told that we need to work hard so that we could finish our work. And after we finished digging canal here, our force would be sent to another place to dig another canal. I did not know what the meeting, the leaders and the head and chief of the unit and group were talking about.
Thank you very much. On the case file at document number E3/135, there is a 30 June 1977 award given by the Central Committee of the Honorary Red Flag to 3 model districts. And that was announced on the radio, and that is available at E3/289, 23 July 1977, and that's at English ERN 001-68509 to 11. The translations are not currently available of that, but have been requested. And my question to you, Ms. Kumlan, is do you ever recall hearing on the radio or a radio announcement of an award being given to the Tram Kok district?
Answer. As for the award, I have never heard about it. Oh, I recall it now. It was said that the region 105 Tram Kok districts, it was a model district compared to other districts. Tram Kok, the district 105, achieved and got much harvest. I heard from chief of unit that the upper echelon praised Tram Kok district. Angka admired this district because this district had good labor, had a good irrigation system, and had good harvest during decade periods.
Ms. Kumlan, do you recall if the visit by the leaders occurred before you became aware that Tram Kok district had received this award, or afterwards?
No, I did not know about the award, but later I was told about it, although I cannot recall the date. It happened in 1977 while we were pushing to work hard. I knew that Angka praised for what we did, and during the meeting we were instructed to make a resolution not to move against the will of the history.
Thank you, Ms. Kumlan. I'm going to move on to a different topic now. You've already told us this morning and this afternoon a bit about the arrest of your husband. Can you tell us, did you ever see anyone else being arrested at cooperatives or at the cooperatives that you were present at?
He was arrested. They would arrest people at night time, so we would not know who had been arrested at night. Only in the morning we whispered to one another while we were at the work site as of who had been arrested at night. Even just a house or two houses down from where I slept at night, I would not know that the person would have been taken away at night. They would do it quietly.
So do I understand correctly that after an arrest would happen at night, the following day you would become aware that someone had been arrested?
Yes, everybody knew about that, so we also became scared. And in fact, at night time, they would quietly come down near the house to listen to what we were talking, especially for those newly married couples. Usually they would pay more attention to try to listen to the couples talking at night, but for the widows group, they did not do that frequently.
And are you able to give us an estimate of the number of people that you were aware were arrested in the cooperative that you were in?
I know, but I cannot recall the names. There were two of them, but sadly I cannot recall their names. It's happened 36 years and 1 month ago.
Thank you, Ms. Kumlan. Were new people targeted for arrest more than base people?
Yes, new people were the primary target for the arrest. Since my departure from Phnom Penh to live in Tramkot district, I only observed that only new people had disappeared, not any based person.
Thank you, Ms. Kumlan. Mr. President, on the case file at E3/4083 is a prisoner list from Krang Tachan Security Center, which includes some individuals who are listed as being from the civil party's home village, Tunong Wurlong. I would like to show this list to the civil party and ask if she recognizes any of the names of individuals from her village, with your permission.
Yes, you may proceed. And court officer, could you assist to deliver the document from the prosecutor for the civil party's examination?
Ms. Kumlan, at the should be the first tab, which is at English ERN 00323-948, Khmer ERN 00068026, and French ERN 00778854. You will see the name Uk Chan, 28 years old, and Kun, 39 years old. Do you recognize either of those names?
I heard of the first name. The person was with a unit to the south of Ligbo commune office, while I was working to the north part of it. So I only heard of the first name. In fact, I knew of several other names, though I don't know whether their names appear on this list.
Thank you very much. If you can actually go to the second tab on that document, there are two more names I would like to ask you about. And this is at English ERN 00323-961-62, French ERN 00778865-66, and Khmer ERN 00068030. And those names are Tep Theng, 40 years old, and Port Nget, 46 years old. Do you recognize either of those names?
No, I do not recognize these true names. People were arrested from all the 8 units within the commune.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kumlan. We'd also like to ask you about whether you were ever asked to participate in any meetings while you were working at the cooperatives.
As for meeting at the village, the meetings held at the village level were frequent. However, for a big meeting, it happened only maybe every 10 days or 20 days, and it was chaired by Tamok, and it was held at Ligbo Pagoda. That's for the big meeting. And in the meetings, for example, those frequent meetings held at the village level, we only listened to what they said, and that we had to make a resolution to engage in harder work and to get rid of the capitalist class attitude.
Would anyone in the meetings ever make any complaints about the conditions of life in the cooperative?
Yes. People complained about not enough rice to eat, because they got a lot of rice harvest in the end of the harvest season, but no rice was given enough to us. However, we only complained within our group. If it was heard by them, then that person would have been arrested, taken away, and killed.
Are you aware of any incidences where an individual complained during a meeting and then was subsequently arrested?
During the meeting, none of us dared to speak. If we would have to say something and it was heard by them, then we would be in trouble.
Okay. Mr. President, I have just 2 more questions. I would like your permission to proceed.
President, yes, you may proceed, but please be brief. You are running out of time.
I will be brief, Mr. President. Ms. Kum Lan, could you please tell us whether you are aware of any Vietnamese or Khmer Krom families living in the same commune as you?
Yes, there were some of them. We even worked in the same rice field, transplanting seedlings. There were Cambodia Krom people who spoke with an accent, and there were some couples of them. And in fact, some of them did not know how to transplant seedlings. And when the group chief or the unit chief saw that, then their names were picked, and we were told that they were sent back to Vietnam. And that happened in 1976. But in fact, that was a lie. They were in fact sent to be tortured and killed as a whole family. In fact, before they left, they came to say goodbye to us, including the parents and the young children. They told me that they were happy that the unit chief would send them back to Vietnam. They said goodbye to us, and later on they were killed, but I do not know where they were killed.
And how did you learn that they were subsequently killed?
I knew it because Khmer Rouge sometimes arrested people who stole a potato at night, and they were told that Vietnamese people could not be sent back to their country, and the only thing that they could do was to kill them. And we simply also knew it was a very cruel regime, and they would kill these people. They did not give value to a person's life at all. And they killed people like they would kill an animal. President, thank you, Madam Kamlon. The time for the prosecution is concluded. We will take a short break and return at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And court officer, please arrange a proper place for the civil party during the break and have her return to the courtroom at 3 p.m. The court is now in recess.